Okay, lovely. So if you have any questions at all while we're going through, if you write me a question in the chat box, I'll come back to them at the end and I'll try and answer them. It doesn't matter. It can be anything as small or as big as you like. I'm happy to go through it as many times as possible. Also, I don't mind if you have your screen share on or off, as long as you can hear me. That's the main thing. The final bit of housekeeping for you is that in the top right, you'll see a speaker view or gallery view. And that will change whether you see everybody or just see me as the host. Now, I would recommend putting on as me, so put it to speaker view, just so you can see my screen. That way you can see some of the settings a little bit better. Okay, I think we've got everybody in. I will take you through a little breakdown agenda of the day. By the way, my name's Ash, it's not Olivia. I'm using Olivia's account. So my name's Ash, I'm a business engagement executive at the Chamber. You'll see more of that as we go through. Okay, right now, you should all be able to see my screen. I'm looking at Gordon. Gordon, thumbs up if you see my screen. Thank you, Gordon. Right. Now, what is Zoom and why is it useful? You might have heard of Zoom. It's been in the news a lot recently. It's probably the most popular online video conferencing software at the moment. And the reason it's so popular is because it's allowing people to do what they normally do in the office away from the office. It's our best sort of solution at this time. Now, why is it useful? For all you graph lovers out there, this is the one and only graph, so enjoy it. As you can see, in December, there's only 10 million people using it. Now it's 300 million a day. So it's really, really, really popular. And that's the reason we're putting this training on, really, because it's so popular that everybody needs to be able to use it going forward. Now, the agenda for today, good news, you've already ticked one off. You've already set up an account, you've got this far. So no matter what happens, you've got that and they can't take that away from you. You've got this far, which is brilliant. We're going to look at the recommended security sessions. Look at the recommended security sessions that Zoom suggests that you have to make the most secure account. We're going to look at scheduling, hosting and joining a meeting. They're all very, very similar, but I'll run through those as well. We're going to look at some of the most advanced tips, so breakout rooms, virtual backgrounds, and what you get for, it's a free package you've used, I assume, today, but you can use the paid package as well, and I'll show you what's in there. We'll briefly cover the mobile device for Zoom, and then we'll do the Q&A session at the end. I reckon it will be about 40 minutes, depending on how many questions I get, so I'll try not to bore you to tears too much. Go to the next one. Okay, so by 4 p.m. when you leave, you'll have a most secure settings on your account. You should be more confident using the software and you should be comfortable with joining and hosting a meeting. Lovely. Now, first thing to explain is everything you get, I run through is going to be on the internet. It's not going to be through a little app. Some of you might have an app at the bottom. That's the Zoom app they ask you to download, which is brilliant, which is what you should be using. But the only way to really affect the settings is through the website. So what I'd like you all to do is you should all, when you come away from this, is go on zoom.us and sign in like I'm going to sign in now. So can you see the website? Gordon, can you see my website? Can you see Zoom? Thank you, Gordon. My little helper. You're going to have to come to all the seminars I do now. So I'm going to sign into my account. Now my account is the free account. So it's completely free. And all yours will look like this when you're on the website, okay? We're going to go to the settings. If you look at the list here, it's got personal, profile, meetings, webinars, recording, settings. We're going to go into settings. And this is where I'm going to show you how to get the most secure account you can. You may have seen in the news, there's been a few, they're called Zoom bombings. It's when people you don't want to join your Zoom meeting. And it's a very, very simple way to fix it. So I'm going to show you how. If you scroll down, this require a password. These three are the most important things to make sure you've got switched on. Now, as far as I know, I set my account a while ago and I had to turn these on myself. As far as I know, Zoom by default ticks these for you now, but I think it's always best to make sure. So what these do is, as you have to do today, is that although you've got the meeting ID, you have to have a password to join. Otherwise, you can have anybody join any meeting ID. You could type in a random number and you could join anybody's meeting anywhere in the world. So it's very, very important to have a password protected meeting. Also, I see some of you writing, so I'll slow down a bit. This use personal ID, I would tick that off. What that means is that every meeting you have that you set up as a host will have the same ID because it'll be your personal ID. I think it's best to switch that off and have a randomly generated one each time. So each time you schedule a meeting, it's going to be completely random, and it's going to be 2 sets of random digits as a ID and a password. Scroll down. Now these in the meeting basics functions, these are all personal preference really. I've enabled the chat today. That's how I got you all to write hello a minute ago. Depending on what you're going to be using Zoom for, you might want to chat, you might not. These are all personal preference, but they're all things that you can change. You can customize your experience with Zoom. Screen sharing. Now that is exactly what I'm doing now. I'll show you how to do that later on, but the fact you can see my screen right now means that I've enabled it, and I'll show you how to do the same. Because as good as it is seeing my round lockdown shaved head, right, it's not quite as useful as seeing a website or a PowerPoint or whatever you're trying to show your colleagues or friends. This is very important as well. So in the meeting advance, report participants to Zoom. Now Zoom have outwardly said that the password protected meetings and some of the other security things they've done should stop people joining meetings randomly, and the Zoom bombings that got in the news. But I think it's important to have that on just in case anybody does get through. I think it's unlikely, but at least you can report them, and Zoom are aware of some of the issues you might have had, or if you have any other issues going forward really. Now breakout room, I've got that off. What that normally does is it allows me to put you all into different rooms. So with Linda and Gordon, say they're both working marketing, and it's important they have a conversation about marketing, but it's not very important for us to listen to it. We can put them in a separate room. They'll still be part of our meeting, but they'll be in a separate little room, a little breakout room close to us, and they can talk about what they need to talk about. And when they're ready, they can join back in the big meeting. This is customizable to your business really. If you want everyone just to sit and listen, we can do it like we're doing now, or you can have them all in separate little rooms, then bring them back to a bigger meeting later on. Virtual background's really fun, so I'll show you that later on. It's not very important, it's not very useful, but it is fun. And this is something you're all in at the start. Now I had a conversation with Linda about 10 minutes ago, how to get this, because this is a very, very important feature that I think everyone should utilize if you can. It's your enable a waiting room. I've got this ticked. It means that when you join a meeting, you're basically stuck in a pen until I accept you into the meeting. This is another security gate to make sure that everybody who signs up to come in are people you're expecting. So I saw all your names as you were coming in. I knew I was expecting you all, so I let you all in. I think that is the basics of a really secure account. As like I said at the very start, as long as you've got those 3 password things ticked and a waiting room, I think that basically nullifies a lot of the security issues that people were having with Zoom beforehand. Okay, now let's have a look at the plans and pricing. I'm assuming that all of you here are using the basic free one. I'm using the basic free one personally, but right now I'm on a paid one from the chamber as Olivia. With the free one, you get 40 minutes. That's a long, long time really for free. There is occasions where if you go over 40 minutes on a free one, they'll let you carry on as a sort of a goodwill gesture, but eventually they're going to ask you to join up to one of their pricing schemes. I don't know how many times they let you go over 40 minutes, but they have done a couple of times with me in the past. You can do up to 100 participants on free. You get 40 minutes. It's an unlimited amount of 40 minutes you can use. Really, as a free package, it doesn't really get much better than this. And I think that's why it's so popular, is that you can get so much use for free without signing up to anything apart from your email address. So I think this is the reason it's gone mad over the last month or so. So for the free, if you want Pro, it will let you have a lot more participants as you go up in price. So if you're expecting to have upwards of 100 people trying to join, this is when you'll have to think about putting money into Zoom. I don't know if that applies to anyone here, but I'm happy to afterwards or in the coming weeks talk about that with somebody who's looking at that option. Right, now I'm going to show you what I can see. Oh, cross this off. Now at the bottom bar, as you can see the bottom bar, you've all seen the chat option. Now, if I were to, which I haven't at the moment, I could let you share your screen. So at any point you can take over the meeting and just show us what's on your computer screen right now. Now, if you're going to do what I was trying to do, and talk you through something, that's quite a useful skill for you to have, and able to talk people through things online, and they can actually see you do it. Like you saw my mouse move then and everything like that. That option is found at the bottom down here, along with any security options. There'll be a little security badge down here as well. That allows me to kick anybody or lock the meeting, which means that nobody else can join once it's started. We haven't done that today because I don't mind latecomers. But if I wanted to, I could lock it and have this as a complete bubble that nobody else can join in on. Let's have a look. Oh, important when I'm talking about security, that Zoom, I think this week, said they're going to release no new features for Zoom until they've got the security in a state where they're really, really happy with how it is. Okay, they're saying that they're going to release nothing fancy, none of the virtual backgrounds, nothing sort of add-ons until they're really happy that the security is really, really strong. Now, since the passwords have been brought in for meetings, I can't find any news articles that show a Zoom bombing or somebody joining when they shouldn't, or somebody listening when they shouldn't, since the passwords have been enabled. But it's worthwhile that they're listening to concerns, and they seem to be dealing with it day by day. You'll see every time you log into your account, there's a little news bubble at the top, and it will be in green, and it will tell you the updates they've done. These are all security focused, and they happen without you having to do anything. They just happen in the background. Okay. Now, at the bottom, depending on what you do on your settings that we just looked at a minute ago, you'll have things like reactions and polls, and these are just little add-ons that you can make the experience for who you're talking to better. Now, depending on if you're using this for networking or training or just general socializing with your work people, you won't need a lot of these, but they're useful to have a play around with. Now, if there's one thing that I suggest you all do when you come away from this, it's host your own meeting that only you're a part of and just play with all the settings. That's how I learn how to use it. I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but the best way to do it is just set up a host a meeting by yourself and just click all the buttons and see what happens. I think that's the best way you're ever going to get around it, and there's no comeback to it because you're on your own. Then you can take as long as you want, and you can keep clicking things until it breaks, and there's no restrictions because you're on your own. That's the number one thing I would suggest that you do. Okay. Now I'm going to answer some other Q&As here because I see a few in here. The lock bit is only on my screen, so I'm the host. I've got host privileges. At the bottom, you've probably got chat, stop video, mute. I've got my bar's full of different options that I can do. You'll only see this when you host a meeting. That is why I'm going to show you how to host a meeting. And once you're able to do that, you'll see all the things that I can see. Now, to host a meeting, I will share my screen with you again. Now, to host a meeting, we're back to this on the website. You can do this through the app, but I'm going to show you everything through the website. You can go up here and you can schedule a meeting, so one for the future. You can join one, which is what you did today. So we're going to schedule one. Now this, you can put whatever you want in here. So Gordon, I've got you on unmute. Pick a topic for our meeting.
Lockdown.
Lockdown, lovely, perfect, Gordon. We have a meeting about lockdown. We're going to have it May the 11th, because hopefully that's when it's all lifted. We have it at 4. Now it's going to tell you here that you only got 40 minutes. This is their way of saying, you should pay for more. So we're going to call it half an hour. It's not a recurring meeting. These are all the little tick boxes when you're making one. Don't use a personal ID because that's your ID. And like I said earlier, it's better to have it generated automatically, this section here, because it's a lot safer. Require a meeting password. I didn't have to make this up. That's randomly generated as well. So using these two makes your meeting very secure because it's completely random. People aren't going to guess that. Now the video you can have if the video is on or off. The audio, where your audio is coming from. And enable waiting room, which is what I showed you earlier. That means that nobody can join before you do. So you join and you let other people in when you're ready. Okay. So we save this. Now look, you'll see we'll have a little URL, so something you can copy and paste into your browser. This is something that you had for this meeting. It's also got the meeting ID, which is what you had for this meeting, and the password, which is what we saw just, that was randomly generated. Now, all these are what you're going to have if you're trying to host your own meeting. So get these sorted and then email them out to whoever it is you're trying to get into the meeting. And this is all they need to get in, and then you can let them in once you're a host. Something else here, I think. I'll delete the meeting. We're not actually going to have the lockdown. Sorry to disappoint you, Gordon, but the lockdown's been cancelled. Wow, the meeting has. Yeah, so I'll stop the share. When you're out of this and when you've got some time, either this week or next week, I would host your own meeting, and just so you get to see all the options, because everything will be open to you. You don't need to have anybody else there. It's just worthwhile you going through all the options, really, just see what you can do. Now, joining a meeting, I'm not going to go through because you've already done that. You got here, I say you got this far, so I don't need to talk you through that particularly. Now, I think I've essentially gone through most of the basics. I've gone through the security. I've gone through joining, hosting, and scheduling. Is there anybody who's got any sort of questions they want me to run through? Anything, any concerns or comments? If you put them in the chat, I'll read through the chat and I'll answer them as they come in. So I've got, how does Microsoft Teams compare to Zoom? Now, it's personal preference. We've got both at the chamber. We use Teams for smaller meetings and we use Zoom for our bigger meetings. Thing with Zoom is you can't see everyone at the same time. So if you clicked on the gallery view at the top right, you can see absolutely everyone in this meeting. You'll see all the participants in little squares. Now, Teams, it's limited to 4. So if you have a work team of 30, you'll only see 4 of their faces at the same time, which can be sad depending on how much you're missing your colleagues. The reason we use Zoom is just because it's better on a bigger scale, but it's really personal preference. Zoom comes as part of the Microsoft package. No, Teams comes as part of the Microsoft package. If you don't have that, you'll have to pay for it, whereas Zoom is always going to be free in this basic version. So I'll try both and see which one you prefer, but I think Zoom's easier as well. I think so. How can you be sure you don't share anything you don't want people to see? Now, I would make sure that before you share your screen, you've sort of gone through the tabs you've got open or any emails you've got open, and just make sure there's nothing sensitive. So you just close everything down and just share what you want to share. So before you click your share screen, I'll do a little check to make sure you've only got the documents open that you want open.
What? You
have got to put an end time. Because you can't schedule anything over 40 minutes because that's not allowed as part of the free package. So you put 40 minutes. Like I say, I've been on meetings that have gone over 40 minutes as part of the free package, and it's let you carry on, but I wouldn't plan for that because I think it's a good world gesture for a couple of times, and then afterwards they'll try and sort of push the paid package on you. So I would always schedule it for 40 minutes. It's not going to kick you off straight away after the 40 minutes, but it's best to schedule it 40 minutes. You need to forward the join URL to people. You don't. It is easier. It's the easiest way to pass on your meeting. You can just send that link and they can click that link, follow through. The safest way is the meeting ID and the password. So leave the URL and just do the meeting ID and the password, because those are the 2 most secure randomly generated bits. And that's why I put such stress on those at the start. You get all the options in the app. Now, the settings you don't. The reason me and Linda had a conversation before is the waiting room settings and some of the security settings aren't available through the app. You've got to go on the website and you've got to follow basically what I did at the start, because otherwise they don't have it in the app. They've got a really small settings section. I don't know why, but yeah, you don't get the full list of things that's open to you. So always go on zoom.us, make sure you got everything done properly. Can you send email too difficult to follow? Is that, you want me to email stuff afterwards, is it? If you write down to me in the chat, I'll make sure I can. There's a bar above the chat with raise hand, yes, no, go slow, etc. I haven't seen this before. How do I enable it? It's part of the settings. There's a feedback tick thing, I think, and it allows you to give this feedback to the host. So it gives you a chance to talk to me without talking to me. You're right, it is good. Raising hand especially, because I've got you all muted now, so I can't hear you. If you had something something really pressing you needed to say, the raise hand option lets me know that you need to talk. So that is a useful option to enable. To invite people, you will need to send them the join URL and the meeting password. You can have both and the meeting ID as well. Meeting ID and password both work as well without the URL if needed. Can you send one email to all participants who have signed up? Where is the hand option? The hand option, if you look at participants and hover over a name, it should say, hover over your name, it should say raise hand. To show that. Can you send one email to all participants? You're going to have to do it as you would a normal email. So you'd have to copy and paste it and then just send it to everybody as part of your normal email. Can you save the chat? Yes, you can. So if it's the little three dots, you'll see where you can type your message in. It says type message here. If you look to the right, it says file, and then it has 3 dots. Now, if those 3 dots, there's a save chat option. That will save everything that's been typed into that chat onto your computer. So if people are putting email addresses or phone numbers or really useful information, and you haven't got a pen to hand and you don't really want to be writing it down, save the chat and you can refer back to it whenever, really. I know we do this a lot of networking because people leave emails and phone numbers and they all come in quite quickly, and it's best just to save the chat to keep hold of them. When you save chat, how do you recall details? What detail? Can you just a bit further on the just explain what you mean by details and I can find out for you. Well, I'm waiting just for this details. If anybody else has any questions, I'm coming to the end of the list now. You can also, it's worthwhile saying that when it says type message here, by default, it'll say everyone on 2. It will be to the whole group. You can click on the little arrow next to everyone and you can send it to one person. So say if I had a really important message for Yaz, I only wanted Yaz to know, or it's a bit of information I only wanted Yaz to know, I can send it through there. Nobody else can see it. It's just for her privately. How are people in the meeting but not showing at all on the screen? Do you mean in terms of the video or in terms of their names? Because if you look at the top, it should say speaker view as part of the black square that I'm in. It should say speaker view or gallery view. Once you hover over, there'd be like 2 options. When you go speaker view, it's just who's talking, so it's always going to be me, unfortunately, on your screen. Whereas click gallery view, it shows everyone who's in that meeting. So you should have rows of people. That's what we normally do for team meetings, just so you can see everyone at the same time. Where do you pick up the chat from? So when you click on save chat, so I'll do it now. If you click save chat, it will say show in folder. If you click on the show in folder, it will show you where it's saved. So it will be it's downloaded to my documents when I click that. So my actual documents on my computer, it will do that. Does the 40 minutes start as soon as the host starts? Say if the host starts the meeting 5 minutes before, does that eat into the time? I believe it does. But I mean, I've been in waiting rooms a lot longer. When I add in the actual meeting time, the meeting time's been about 40 minutes. I've been in the waiting room longer, and I don't think it's as strict as they make out. It might get stricter when this gets more popular as software, but at the moment it's not that strict. So you could join 10 minutes before, get it all sorted, set up, and everyone could be waiting in the waiting room. It shouldn't eat into your 40 minutes particularly. I don't think you'll notice it eating into your 40 minutes, what I'm trying to say. Press the bottom LHS video button to take self on. Yes, yeah, that's very important. So on the bar, bottom left, mute and video. Those are to allow your mic to work and allow your video to work. So if you don't want to show your video, you can click that and there'll be a big cross through it. So you can't see, people can't see you. Same with the mute, you can have a cross through that as well, so people can't hear you. I can't see any more questions coming in. Can you emit all at the same time? Yep, there is a button that says emit all as you're waiting. That's what I did with you all today. There's a little button that will just say emit everyone waiting. I have a big long list of everybody that was waiting. If you click the participants, you'll have at the bottom participants. That's where you see everyone. All those names were down as in the waiting room before, and now you're actually part of the meeting. Okay, so this is from Olivia, who's the events manager, who I'm using today. She's saying that anybody wishing to host bigger webinars or training sessions, the pro license isn't that expensive. Now, I looked at a bit of the prices earlier. They do vary depending on what you're after. I showed that little pricing structure at the start, but yeah, it's a monthly bill, and it's not huge depending on how much you use it. If you take the mute off, can you hear us speak? I can. If I clicked unmute all, I could hear you all. Now we put it on mute for when there's a host, because sometimes it interrupts. So if somebody say drop something now, it cuts off my audio, and you can only hear that the person who's made the noise. It only focuses on them, so it can disrupt the host audio. That's why we put it on mute to start with. Okay, lovely. Now I'm going to talk you through some of the weirder options on Zoom. So if you see video at the bottom here, you'll see there's a little arrow, so a little up arrow next to the video. If you click on this, there's a virtual background. Now, a lot of people seem to be trying to make professional backgrounds with this, with a green screen. Now, unless you have a green screen, it doesn't really work yet. I'll show you. Look, San Francisco doesn't really work. I've turned into a garden. They're all sort of an experimental phase, but if you've got a really plain background or a green screen, it is something that you can do. So maybe you want your business logo or your name or email or something on the back. If you've got a green screen, you can do that. If you don't, I wouldn't recommend doing it, because it does, like what Jane's done there, for some reason it just takes up the whole screen. It doesn't work unless you've got a proper green screen. It's a great little feature, it just doesn't work quite yet, but it will get there. Is it easier to ask than type? It can be. If you click the raise hand option, and I'll know you want to ask a question, I'm happy for you to, I'm happy to ask a question through audio rather than type if it's easier for you. That's completely up to you. I see you typing, so I'll wait. How are you changing the screen? So the screen is in that video, the little arrow next to the video. It will show you the choose virtual background. You click that, and that's when you can change the background. But like I say, it doesn't really work unless you've got a green screen. It doesn't quite work yet. What is Ellis using as his backdrop? Ellis, have you got a green screen? It just works anyway. So I'm going to unmute you. Ellis, are you happy to talk, Ellis?
Yeah, no worries.
Lovely. How did you get such a good background? I assume you're not in Barbados.
Well, no, it's Abu Dhabi actually.
Oh, right, okay.
No, I was just playing around with the settings, and I had a picture on my my photos. I just saved it and added it to the background. Don't ask me to. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to save the picture as a virtual background.
Have you got a really great background behind you? Because it's worked really, really well. It doesn't normally work that well.
Okay, that was the question.
Really,
did it look okay?
Yeah, it looks really good, that. I mean, if anyone needs a wall, Ellis has got the best wall for this. I think everyone else will struggle. Yeah, so that's some of the more fun options you could do with it. Like I say, host your own meeting. Number one thing you need to do when you leave this today is host your own meeting and just play with all the settings, and you'll find stuff that works for you, stuff that doesn't, things that you don't know about. Feel free to email me. I'll put my email and phone number at the end, and I'll try and talk you through things. I am as helpful as I can be, hopefully. I will give another couple of minutes for more questions to come in. While they do, I'll put my details up on the screen in case you need to get in touch with me about anything in the future. These are my contact details. If you have any questions, type them in the chat at this point. But these are my contact details. If you host your meeting just by yourself in a couple of days' time and it doesn't quite go how you think it should have gone, drop me an email, give me a ring, and I'll try and talk through how to fix it. I'd like to think I can fix it. If not, we'll find somebody that can. Give me another minute for that. Cool, lovely. So I can't see any more questions in the chat. So what I'll do is I'll give a bit of a roundup of today. I like the thumbs up, Carol. Thank you. That is good. I like that. As part of the reactions at the bottom, you can put thumbs up and claps. all I wanted to come out today was you to basically set up an account and set it up securely. So I showed you all the settings, the most secure settings, and you've already got an account because you're here. So that's good. I wanted you to become more confident in using Zoom. Best way to do that is playing around with it, posting your own thing, and become confident with all the buttons and what they all do. The only way you're going to do that is by experiencing it really and trying it. And I wanted you to really be comfortable using it in the workplace. Now, the only way to do that is, like I said before, once you're happy with using it yourself and you're confident in using it, that's when you can start implementing it in the workplace. Or maybe to start with, you just have a one-on-one chat with somebody through this. So you send a meeting ID to a colleague, and this is just how you have your team meeting, just one-on-one. There's not a lot of pressure on you then, and you can just see how it goes, really. That's the only way. Like, this was completely new. Like, there was only 10 million people using this at Christmas, and now 300 million are. And I was one of the ones that I'd never heard of Zoom until you had to hear a Zoom because of lockdown. Looks like no more questions. Is there anything anybody wants covered? There's no silly questions. Don't worry. I'm happy to go over whatever I've gone over. I don't mind. No, don't think so. Well, if anything comes to mind, I add my email and phone number up there. If anything comes to mind, you think you need help doing that, get in touch and I can sort that out for you. Thank you. Thanks for listening, everyone. It was a bit of a lecture. I know it's all very one way, just sitting listening to me, and I haven't got the greatest voice. But thanks for listening. I hope you found it useful, and I really hope you go away and implement it. Just try and use it. Try and use it, and you'll be amazed by how good you are at it, because it's quite a user-friendly software, and it works. It works really well once you give it a go.
Ash, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No problems.
Ellis just wanted you to, I think you just might have missed it because everyone's saying thank you. Ellis just wanted you to go over the screen share again.
Okay, no problems at all. So I've enabled today screen share that only I can do, so you won't be able to see it, but at the bottom where you've got mute, stop video, chat and reactions, etc., there's normally a little green button there that will say screen share, and you can basically show what's on your screen. So if I click it now, you'll see the PowerPoint I had up in the background. You'll only have that option when you host a meeting, unless I gave everybody the option to share their own screens, which we don't do because it takes away from the host's privileges, really. But yeah, you'll only have that option once you host your own. Lovely. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. Don't think any more questions are coming in. I'll take that as a good sign, or cross my fingers and hope it's a good sign. Good luck out there. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if there's any issues. And we'll see you again very soon, I'm sure.
Okay.
Cheers. Thanks for coming. I'll unmute you all. See you later, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.